Howdy doody, my name is Susie, and today I'd like to share with you a recipe on how to make cayenne pepper salve or capsaicin salve or chili pepper salve. This salve is applied topically and it is excellent for arthritic pain, rheumatoid pain, joint pain, and muscle pain. So it's great to apply it if you have a sore neck, if you've got carpal tunnel, if you have tennis elbow, any joints or muscular pains that you may have. This ointment applied topically actually helps to provide some comfort and reduce the pain. Now, we are using 3 ingredients to make this salve, and we are using chili peppers, which have been traced back as being one of the oldest cultivated fruits, because this is actually the fruit of the plant, and it's been dated back to Mexico, going back some 6,000 BC. So this has definitely been around a long time. People have been using it as a spice and also for medicinal purposes. The chili pepper or the cayenne pepper, as I said, it looks like this. It comes in this form. You also can get chili pepper flakes. And when it's ground up into a fine powder, that is your cayenne pepper. Now, I'm lucky enough to have a friend who grew some chili peppers for me and dried them. So I basically just turned them into powder, and this is what I'm going to be using to infuse my oil in order to create that salve. Now, the way that the chili peppers work is that it is an anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant. But the main reason is that the capsaicin that is in the peppers, which is the heat of the pepper, so the higher the capsaicin, the hotter the pepper. The capsaicin that is in this pepper, when applied topically to a specific area that is in pain, will increase blood flow and circulation. It will heat up that area, and basically the capsaicin reduces there's a substance called substance P, which is part of your nervous system, and that is what sends the message to your brain saying that you're in pain. So the capsaicin reduces the substance P, so basically it's tricking the brain into believing that there isn't pain, and hence you do not feel pain in that area, or the pain is reduced. So that's my non-scientific explanation for it. I'm sure you can research and find out more about it. But as I said, do not take this in exchange for any sort of professional or medical help that you are receiving or treatment. So it's very easy to make, and it's actually very economical. We're going to need 1 ounce of ground cayenne pepper. We're going to need 1 ounce of beeswax, and you can pick up your beeswax from your local beekeeper. We've got the honey house here in Clarksburg, which you can buy wax. So you need 1 ounce of beeswax, and then we need 8 ounces of olive oil, or you can use grapeseed oil or sunflower seed oil. We need a jar, and we need 1/2 ounce of vodka. Now, traditionally, to infuse any sort of herbs into oil, your herbs had to be, or most herbs are dry, infused into the oil, left on a sunny window, and the sun helps extract all those properties that you're looking for into the oil. But that method takes about 4 to 6 weeks. It is the traditional method that I've used before. There's an alternative method where you can add your cayenne pepper directly to the oil, and over a double boiler, you very gently warm it up every hour for about 20 minutes, and that takes about 24 hours. So that's a pretty labor-intensive method. I've recently come across a new method, which is called the alcohol intermediary method, And it only takes 24 hours to infuse and extract all those properties that you would normally leaving it on a sunny window for 6 weeks. All we have to do, we need a mason jar with a lid that you can screw on tightly. We need 1 ounce of powdered cayenne pepper, and if you don't have a scale to weigh this, 1 ounce is approximately 1/4 cup, so it's not hard and fast. The measurements aren't that crucial. And you just want to add your dry herb, or in this case the cayenne pepper, to the mason jar, and you want to add your 1/2 ounce, I've got 1/2 ounce of vodka, and then you just want to toss it around with a fork, and basically it just becomes damp. It looks a little bit like earth. So then you have this damp powder. We're going to seal it up. You can shake it around a little bit. And we're going to set it off to the side. We're going to wait 24 hours. And that alcohol is going to infuse. It's going to help the oil absorb or extract those properties that we're looking for, in this case specifically the capsicum and all the other properties that offer anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. So I'll put this off to the side and I'll see you in 24 hours. Oh, we don't need to wait 24 hours. I did it in advance. So now I've got my jar. I've waited 24 hours. It has, whoa, it has dried slightly, but it still has some of that vodka that's absorbed into everything. And just on a side note, make sure that all your utensils are clean. Wash them in hot soapy water. And you don't have to be super diligent on disinfecting at this point, but definitely when it comes to the vessel that we're going to use, or the little pots that we're going to use to dispense our infused salve, those should be cleaned with alcohol in advance to make sure everything is disinfected. So now we're going to take our powder and we're going to put it in our blender. Get that all in there. And for 1 ounce of your herb, in this case our cayenne pepper, we're going to use anywhere between 6 to 8 ounces of your oil of choice. I'm using 8 ounces of the olive oil. And now we are going to blend this for 5 minutes. And what it's going to do is, through friction, it's going to warm up the ingredients, and it's going to help infuse or extract all of those properties from the cayenne pepper into the olive oil. So I'm going to put my timer on and do this for 5 minutes. Oh, I forgot to plug it in. All right. So it's been 5 minutes and my blender feels warm to the touch. Now I stopped my blender every minute and just let it rest for 5 seconds because I didn't want to overheat the motor. So you might want to do that. But in total, we've blended for 5 minutes. The next step is to, you can leave this for a while. The longer it infuses, obviously it's not going to hurt it, but it is ready to move on to the next step. So we need to strain our oil, and in order to, I'm just using a measuring cup, and I'm going to use some cheesecloth. Oh, you can see the smoke. The solution is actually warm. So now we're just going to strain it through our cheesecloth. And this will be slow going, but you can slowly pour this through. I'll get some of the oil through, and then we're going to put on some rubber gloves, and we're going to really squeeze all of the oil out of our cheesecloth. Now it's only been 5 minutes, and already I have strained the majority of the oil, and now I'm going to use gloves. And I think that given our times, everybody probably has a pair of gloves at home. And this is just going to save you from burning yourself by touching your eyes or any other area. This is concentrated hot pepper. You do not want to touch your face or anywhere else for that matter that you know is gonna hurt. So just squeeze it out. And I'm just gently squeezing as much of the oil as I can. Now if you wanted to get even a pure oil without any of the cayenne herb or the cayenne pepper, then you could filter the oil that we're just filtering now, filter the second time through a coffee filter. However, doing that will probably take 24 hours. It's a very, very slow process. Now I've squeezed as much as I can out. I'm going to throw that whole thing away. And you want to keep washing your hands just in case you touch the pepper. So now we have our infused oil, and I'm not sure if you can see, but it's a beautiful deep orange color. And we have our 1 ounce of wax. Now, just a word of caution, if you're buying your wax as a whole piece and you want to chop it up because it will melt faster, then use an old knife. The knife is going to be left with all kinds of wax. It's going to be gummy. So I just take a lighter and light the blade of the knife, and then once the wax melts, I can just wipe it off with a paper towel and wash the knife. Basically, it's the same principle for washing my measuring cup, because I'm going to use my measuring cup as a part of my double boiler. So over some heated water, I'm going to melt my wax, and then I'm going to add my oil to the wax once it's melted, and then at that point I'm going to be ready to dispense it. So I have a number of small containers which I've just picked up at Dollarama or the dollar store or whatever. This little metal one. Small plastic containers, and I'm going to just take some rubbing alcohol and just wipe down all my vessels just to make sure they're sterilized and I'm not introducing any unnecessary bacteria or anything that could spoil my salve. This salve will actually keep for a year. And one of the benefits of using the alcohol intermediator, anyways, by using this alcohol method, it actually helps preserve the salve for a longer period of time, so it extends its shelf life. So that's another great reason to use this particular method. So all my vessels are sterilized, and now I'm just going to move this over to the stove and show you how to infuse the two together. So I'm at the stove, and I'm just using my measuring cup as my double boiler, and it just hooks onto the side. You got to be careful because this will get hot. And I've got my boiling water, and now I'm just going to wait until that wax is melted, and I've just got it over a medium, and already the wax is melting. So let me do that, and I'll get back to you as soon as it's completely melted, and we'll do the next step. So now our wax is completely melted, as you can see. And I've turned off the stove, and now we are going to add our oil to the wax. And as you can see, it almost looks like curdled eggs, but we're just going to leave it in that warm water, and we're just going to stir it until it completely melts together and creates one uniform solution. So it's been about 5 minutes. It took a little bit longer to re-melt all of that wax, but as you can see, it is totally incorporated. So I'm going to take, so here we are, and I have my warmed solution, and it is a clear and totally combined liquid. So now I'm just going to fill my vessels, and I've got my warm water here just in case this starts to solidify. Let this set at room temperature, and then we're going to come back and we're going to try and apply it. As I mentioned before, the best way to clean up any utensils that you've used is by first removing as much of it as you can with your paper towel. And actually, I'm going to do this wearing gloves because I don't want to get my hands on it, but basically remove as much of the wax and the oil as you can with the paper towel, and then wash it with soapy water, and it should be fine. Salve is setting at room temperature, and I can see it's already firming up very nicely. Whenever you go to apply this salve, make sure to protect your hands. So wear gloves, wrap your fingers in some plastic wrap, but make sure that you protect your hands when you're applying this, because this is the concentrated cayenne pepper. And the last thing you want is pepper on your hands and then mistakenly touch your eye. Also, you want to keep this, you want to apply it to the localized area where you're feeling pain. So if it's your wrists or your forearm or your knees, just apply it to the area that you're feeling pain. Never ever apply it to skin that has a rash or a cut or a scratch or any kind of abrasion, any sort of sore that you may have in your skin or open wound. You definitely do not want this to come in contact with it, because it will burn and it will hurt a lot. And the point is to give you some pain relief, not additional pain. Also, this is oil-based, so it is greasy and it does stain. The color is indicative as to the stain that you will get on your skin. It's that deep orange red from the cayenne pepper. So what I like to do is when I apply it to whatever area, say it's my arm, then I cover up my arm until it's fully absorbed and I feel some relief. And a good way to do that is by using some old clothing. So for instance, if you're suffering from pain in your hands, whether it be that you've just been working too hard or arthritis, then get yourself a pair of gloves from the dollar store or old gloves that you want to throw away. Apply the cayenne pepper salve to your hand, and then just wear the glove in order to hold in the heat. It actually gives you a lot of comfort. Now you can also cut off the fingers so that you're still able to work while you're getting your little cayenne pepper salve treatment. Another good tip is if, for instance, you have aches and pains in your arms or your elbows, also in your legs, sciatica. I use some old leotards, and all you have to do is just cut off the foot. And usually my problem is tennis elbow, so let's say I need about this much. And now I've created a nice Band-Aid that I can use. I'm covering up the area. It's giving me a little bit of tension. It's holding in the heat, and it's not getting my clothes dirty. And once I'm through with my treatment, I can just pull it off and throw it into the laundry. A great way to hold in the heat, especially if you have neck problems, and I've got a little bit of arthritis in my neck and it's sore from time to time. So if I'm applying it on my neck, I can take some old turtlenecks and just cut out a little dicky, as if for if you're a skier or a snowmobiler, you know all about it, and just cut out this so that I can slip it over my neck and I've got protection in the front, but primarily in the back, so I'm not staining my clothing. And all those loose socks or single socks that you can't find the other pair to, again, you can do the same thing. Just cut off the bottom of the sock. You can use this for ankle support, you can use this for your arm, or you can use it for your wrist and hold in that heat, and it really gives it a lot of comfort. So in the case of lower back pain, I usually apply the Salve and then a small towel on my back that I don't mind it getting dirty, and I can just throw it in the laundry. If it's something that I have intense pain and I want to walk around, there's always those stretchy braces that you buy from the hardware store, and they're belts that are made for heavy lifting. Those work really well because you can apply the towel, the belt over it, which gives you support and holds in the heat. So it's really about holding in the heat and really allowing the capsaicin to numb your pain. I hope that you try this recipe. It's very easy to make. I hope that you have success with it and it gives you some relief. So if you make it and you like it, I hope you share it. Enjoy and good health. Feels nice.